Now, so long as the battle-hungry Meleager fought, it was deadly going for the Curetes. No hope of holding their ground outside their own city walls, despite superior numbers. But then, when the wrath came sweeping over the man, the same anger that swells the chests of others for all their care and self-control, then, heart enraged at his own dear mother, Althea, Meleager kept his bed beside his wedded wife, Cleopatra, that great beauty. Remember her? The daughter of trim-heeled Marpessa, Aeneas's child, and her husband Idas, strongest man of the men who once walked the earth. He even braved Apollo. He drew his bow at the archer, all for Marpessa, the girl with lovely ankles. There in the halls her father and mother always called Cleopatra Halcyon, after the sea-bird's name. Grieving once for her own fate, her mother had raised the Halcyon's thin, painful cry, wailing that Lord Apollo, the distant deadly archer, had whisked her far from Idas. Meleager's Cleopatra, she was the one he lay beside those days, brooding over his heart-breaking anger. He was enraged by the curses of his mother, volleys of curses she called down from the gods. So racked with grief for her brother he had killed, she kept pounding fists on the earth that feeds us all, kept crying out to the god of death and grim Persephone, flung herself on the ground, tears streaking her robes, and she screamed out, "Kill Meleager, kill my son." And out of the world of darkness a fury heard her cries, stalking the night with a fury's brutal heart. And suddenly, thunder breaking around the gates, the roar of enemies, towers battered under assault, and Aetolia's elders begged Meleager, sent high priests of the gods, pleading, "Come out now, defend your people now." And they vowed a princely gift. Wherever the richest land of green Caledon lay, there they urged him to choose a grand estate, full 50 acres, half of it turned to vineyards, half to open ploughland, and carve it from the plain. And over the old horseman Aeneas begged him. He took a stand at the vaulted chamber's threshold, shaking the bolted doors, begging his own son. Over and over his brothers and noble mother implored him. He refused them all the more, and troops of comrades, devoted, dearest friends, not even they could bring his fighting spirit round, until at last rocks were raining down on the chamber, Curetes about to mount the towers and torch the great city. And then, finally, Meleager's bride, beautiful Cleopatra, begged him, streaming tears, recounting all the griefs that fall to people whose cities seized and plundered, the men slaughtered, citadel burned to rubble, enemies dragging the children, raping the sashed and lovely women. How his spirit leapt when he heard those horrors, and buckling his gleaming armor round his body, out he rushed to war. And so he saved them all from the fatal day. He gave way to his own feelings, but too late. No longer would they make good the gifts, those troves of gifts to warm his heart, and even so he beat off that disaster, empty-handed. But you wipe such thoughts from your mind. Don't let your spirit turn you down that path, dear boy. Harder to save the warships once they're up in flames. Now, while the gifts still wait, go out and fight. Go, the Achaeans all will honor you like a god. But enter this man-killing war without the gifts, your fame will flag, no longer the same honor, even though you hurl the Trojans home.